Okay. And share it again. Please let me know again if you see the screen.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. So it's going to be about how to set up a good self-care morning routine. So just, I know that, so if we were a lot of people, I would have asked you to write it down. But since we're not a lot of people, I mean, maybe just a few words from both of you. When you read this meetup description, what were you guys hoping to learn? Just a few couple of words, nothing really detailed. You know, when you read it, what did you hope to learn? What are you hoping to learn from this meetup?
Sure, let's go, ladies first.
Devasmita, do you want to share?
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
go ahead.
So some practices and habits that can set you up for a good day.
Great. Some practices to set you up for a good day. Got it. What about you? How do you pronounce your name? Is it Pavlin or?
Yeah, I always get that question. You can just call me Pablo.
Pablo?
Yeah, I just have this nickname in Denmark because nobody can tell my name probably. So
Okay. But how would you pronounce it correctly?
it's Pavlin.
Pavlin. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Pavlin. Pavlin or Pablo. It's you know, whatever you prefer. What about yourself, Pavlin?
Well, honestly, I do have my own self-care morning routine or whatever you call it. So I wanted to hear other people's view on it and how they do it. So that's mainly why I'm here.
Great. Awesome. And again, you know, if you want to share something, I would love to hear what you do. So we will get to the last part of this, let's say, conversation or meetup, and there's going to be questions and answers. So if you want to share, I would love to hear. And I think Devasmita also would like to share how you do it. So, but now this is the agenda, guys. So we will gonna go just very briefly in terms of how I see what self-care morning routine is. Then I will tell you a little story of mine, and we'll sort of wrap it up with how I see it as it has been beneficial in my life. And then we will talk about 3 ingredients. Okay, so the first one is the morning. The second is the day, you know, daytime, and the third one is evening. And the reason why we're going to talk about the other two, even though it's called self-care morning routine, is because it's somehow interconnected. And Pavlin, you probably can relate to it. Like, for example, the importance of evening instead of setting yourself up for success in the morning. So we'll talk about that. And then, as I said, there's going to be some questions. And then if we have more time, you know, yeah, either we can finish earlier, but I think there's going to be quite plenty to discuss and share amongst us. So the first thing is just, you know, in terms of defining what self-care routine is I put it in a very, to me, self-care morning routine is just a simple way to take care of yourself in the morning. So you know, to help yourself grow and develop. And that, to me, in my language or in my world, needs to be done consistently. So, you know, you take care of yourself on a consistent basis in the morning. So whatever that is for you, you can define it yourself. And there are many activities that you can do. And some of them I will be sharing. And hopefully, Pavlin, feel free to share your routine as well. So what I would like to start off with is to tell you a story. Okay, so on this picture, you can see my friend and myself. This is Bardo. He is a very intelligent, very clever guy. He's a software engineer. He's from Faroe Islands, and we're on this picture together. I don't know if you can guess it by the background. Any guesses?
Looks like a party to me.
Yeah, exactly. It is a big party. It's a Roskilde festival. You might have heard of it. quite a wild party. This was my first time and the only time, but it was a lot of fun. So we were here together with Bardo and the rest of our company that sponsored the trip. And on January 26th, Bardo writes to me, "I may have misunderstood you. Are you coming for dinner?" And then I replied to him, "Hi, Bardo, I am coming. 15, 20 minutes, and I'm there." And he writes back, "Great, see you soon." So I arrived about 25 minutes later. I was a bit delayed. And we had a really nice time together. He made some really delicious dinner. It was, as far as I recall, it was Ferris fish that he brought from Faroe Islands with asparagus, with potatoes and some yummy sauce. So really enjoyed it. And we had a lot to talk about because we didn't see each other for actually a couple of months. And we talked about work, we talked about projects, life, and just gossips, right? We also do that. But that day I had an agenda, and it wasn't easy for me to share that, but I knew it was right. It was the right thing to do. And that what I asked him about was an accountability favor. Okay, so I came to Baro that day. Of course, I wanted to learn about how he was doing, and I wanted to tell him how I was doing. But I also had that intention in my head to ask for something, and that was an accountability favor. I don't remember exactly how I said this, but now I recalled it. I said something in lines of, "I've been thinking of waking up early in the morning. Can you help me?" Oh, and sure enough, we talked about what it is and why I want to do it, which I'll get a bit later in the presentation. But he said, "Yeah, sure, absolutely. I would love to help you." And after that, we continued talking. We had a nice time together, and then I left. And then a few days later, I write to him, "Hi, Baro, I hope you're doing well. I started on the challenge. It was great to see you, and thank you for your support. That day, I got inspired by you and thought about the consequences if I miss a day of challenge. I have been donating to children's organization for many years, and I would love to offer you 100 krona donation to any charity organization of your choice if I miss a day in my challenge. This means I will continue my personal contribution, but if I miss a day, I will donate 100 krona to an organization of your choice. How does it sound? So far, I've been doing well on my challenge, and I keep a log." So the challenge was that I asked him to keep me accountable for waking up early in the morning. And that day when we talked about it, he also got inspired and he said, "Oh yeah, this is great. I would love to also try to do it." So he wrote me back here, "Wow, that is a great idea. Really cool. That was a fruitful conversation that we had." And he also wrote that he started to wake up early in the morning. Okay. And I basically that day, I committed, I had an idea in mind to wake up early in the morning, but it was much more than that. It was about me committing to living my best life. And as Tim Ferriss says, you win your morning, you win your day. And it's really about setting good intentions, those healthy intentions for the day, right? So, and I'll tell you a story how it came about. So a few months earlier, I think it was, so when I came to him, it was January 2019. And hold on a second. I think there's somebody in the, yeah, there is a person, Gioti, that is connecting. Hi, Jyoti. Okay, just a second. Yeah, I think she's connected now, or he's connected. Hello, welcome.
Thank you. I'm sorry I'm late.
Yeah, no worries at all. No worries at all. So just to, we started, I think it was a few minutes, but just to get it right, how do we pronounce your name?
Yeah, you can pronounce it as Jyoti.
Jyoti. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice
right.
to meet you, Jyoti. So
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah. So we started just to get you quickly on board. I'm sharing with the guys about the story of mine, how I started waking up early in the morning. So I'm not gonna go into details, but basically this is my friend, and one day I went to my friend and asked him for accountability support. And so so I asked him, if I miss a day, I will send you 100 krona, and then you'll donate this money to any charity of yours. And so we kind of left off here. But a few months earlier, guys, right? It wasn't like this. So it was actually, I felt quite stuck, and it wasn't like started in just a few months earlier. I think it was much earlier than that. But where I was in life, I felt quite stuck. Didn't know where I was headed in terms of my career and just generally with life. And I just want to describe to you how a typical morning or evening, morning, a day looked like. But basically, I would wake up and I would go to work every day. I would come back from work completely drained of energy. Wouldn't have a lot left, and pretty much every day I would spend an evening, obviously after having dinner and spending time with my family, with my kids. I have 3 kids, lying down on the couch, and that's what I would normally do. I would just pull out the phone, and I would start watching YouTube and Netflix and playing poker sometimes. I was addicted at some point, playing games. And that would how a typical evening would look like. I would start with, very often with good intentions, with a TED Talk video, right? I would go and say, okay, this is going to be an educational evening. And so I would open either TED video, like YouTube, or TED website. But then 3 hours later, I found myself, or I would catch myself watching street fighting in Russia. So this is one of the, I just took a screenshot, but it would be quite often, right? So me having good intentions, and then 3 hours later, it would be like, come on, get out, all right? And oh wow, ouch, that was a nasty punch, right? Or that was a nasty kick, right? So let me just let another person in. Okay. And so that's how basically almost every day I would spend hours on videos, and I would start intentionally, with good intentions, and then it would just stop with, or I'd catch up. Oh, sorry, I would catch myself doing some videos, and sometimes some like street fighting videos. Sometimes I would catch myself watching survival videos or prank videos. And nowadays, there's a TikTok, right, that is very popular. So we all know that. So we all do that, or a lot of us are doing that. But that was also what it was for me. But what I also found out that every single day almost, when I did that, so I would maybe start at around 8 o'clock and then do it for 3 hours, 4 hours, and I would go to bed quite late, around 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock. And obviously I wouldn't get enough sleep. So every morning almost, we would have arguments with my family, right? So my wife and my kids, about being late for work and school. Every day would be almost like, come on, guys. It felt so rushed almost every day. And it was stressful. We were fighting. So it wasn't, a pleasant morning, right? To start with. So, and it was almost every day. And I even remember that because sometimes I wouldn't get enough sleep. So maybe sometimes 5, 6, on a good day, 7 hours, I missed things and I was quite forgetful. So I remember, sometimes my wife would ask and say, Vladimir, can you buy carrots on the way home? And I would go to a grocery store and I would buy everything else, right? I would buy everything else but carrots. I don't know if you can guys relate to that. And that has happened to me quite a few times. But I remember every single time when I didn't get enough sleep, I would basically forget more likely or more often. And so when I started to kind of getting on the verge of being fed up with just a second, guys. I have my son rushing through the door. Just a second. Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that. So when I started to sort of getting fed up with how I conducted my life, how I lived it, I accidentally stumbled upon this book called "Don't Sweat the Small Stuff." And so, any of you know it? By show of hands. Oh, no. Okay. So you know it. And what caught my attention there was that Richard Carlson. Thanks, Basmita. So if you want to interact, you can just raise your hands, use interactive tools. That's awesome. So, but what came to my attention was that Richard Carlson talked about in the book that he created this golden hour for himself. So every time when he wanted to change things in his life, he basically created this golden hour where he would, in solitude and stillness and quietness, he would spend time on himself. So that would be, meditating, reading, doing exercise, and just, planning for the day, right, in quietness. And that, I thought that sounded really intriguing. Especially the fact that everything was quite chaotic in the morning. So I started doing research, and I found this guy. His name is Hal Elrod, and some of you may know it. He wrote a book, and he's a very successful entrepreneur. He has written multiple books, and he basically shares his story through this book, and he developed this methodology called the Miracle Morning. And when I did some more research, I basically read about what this involves. It's a simple methodology that every morning you wake up and you do certain routines, certain activities. And that was like a light bulb going off for me. I was like, wow, this is so great. I would like to implement it. So I went to Amazon and I bought the book. But even before it arrived, I started implementing it. So I completely fell in love with it. And as Banjamin Franklin, right, says, early to bed, early to rise, what makes men healthy, wealthy, and wise. And so I took it to my heart, and I started implemented. And I saw a major difference. So now it's been, and it's not that I will not miss it one day, but it's been now almost 3 years since I started on this journey to live with more intention. So every day I would, wake up and do a miracle morning. And fast forward, the benefits that I saw in self-care morning routine are these. And there are many more, but these are just, something that I see in myself. And I'll give you a few examples. Health benefits, clarity of purpose, financial benefits, intellectual gains, mental wellness, and goal achievement. Oh, sorry, just a second. Yeah, I'm getting a call here. So I'm sorry about this. Yeah, needed to just decline it for now. Okay, can you see my screen well? Okay. All right. So these are some of the benefits. And what I personally benefited from, and these are concrete examples, right? Since I started doing Miracle Mornings, I've been 3 times promoted at work. I became a team lead, and then I became a manager, and then I became a head of department, leading up a team of 20 people. My relationship improved dramatically, and we fought less. Salary increased. I think I just missed it there. And I started to also invest in stocks and properties. So I became an investor, and I became an avid reader. So a lot of books that you guys seen on the background there, I've been reading a lot. So, and that was what I've been doing in the morning. Just, like either simply a page, or sometimes it's gonna, like, it will be 10 pages, but regardless of of what it is, whether it rained or stormed or I traveled, I would read it, right? And I even started writing a book called The Art of Being While Becoming, so which is going to be published this coming March in 2022. I became much better at managing myself, and self-organization, sort of focus my attention and my emotions. And I became a faster also swimming athlete, because I love swimming, and I've been swimming for now 7 years. And this is what I also definitely, not maybe entirely, but attribute to some of it, what I started to do in the morning to becoming a better swimming athlete. So as you can see, there are a few benefits that I attribute for sure, if not completely, but partially, to Miracle Morning or morning routine, self-care morning routine. And 3 years ago, I couldn't get myself off the couch. Like, as I showed you a few images, right? I would spend 3 or 4 hours every single day lying on the couch, and just literally spending and wasting my time. And that's the reason why I felt so much stuck and confused, and quite frankly frustrated, because I didn't just see any purpose in continuing doing that. So that's how I got this wake up call one day and said, where I was heading with it. And even now, 3 years later, as I said to you, I was promoted several times, but actually now I'm doing full-time coaching. So I started working with people and helping them, right, develop and grow. So when I met Berglin at the work that I used to work, she also was in a place which is, she was overwhelmed, she was a bit stressed. And I remember we talked about things, and I even said to her that, this is the book that I'm reading, and try it. And so I shared with her a Miracle Morning book. It's actually here, this book, right? And she also loved it. And ever since, because we were on the same team, but I wasn't her manager, but I then became her manager, and we continued on that journey. And so we started to work with her towards her growth and development. So I helped her grow, and she grew confidence, and she got more clarity, and even she got 2 times promotions. The same, with our rooms. I'm just sharing with you, not to brag, but just to share you that 3 years ago I really didn't see anywhere like where I was going, and almost 3 years later, I'm in the position of helping others to to develop themselves further. So but these are just few examples. And just to summarize it, fast forward-thinking people, people who I find successful in what they do, whether it's athletes, sports, business, education, technology, and you name it, right? Over and over, I can see that, they share something in common. And that one of the things is their morning routine. As I said in the beginning, how we set ourselves up in the morning, we basically set ourselves up for that day. And as Tim Ferris says, very intelligently, win your morning, win your day. And as there's actually another quote by somebody, it's Jeff Olson. He says that one of the hardest things that to do for him was to wake up early every single morning. And now what I would like to speak with you about is, three parts, as I said in the beginning, right? So in the morning, day, and evening. However, what I would like to start out with is not the morning, okay? I will start out with an evening, okay? And I will deep dive into as to why. But the reason why, these three is basically, morning is what we just talked about. If you set yourself up for success, you're going to be, it's much more likely it's going to happen. Then during the day, what's happening during the day also affects kind of, our evenings, and also it will affect, subsequently our morning. So that's also important to mention. And also evening. But I would like to start with actually in evening. And the reason why is because I remember, I think it was actually Hal Elrod who says, your morning starts with an evening. Okay. How you start your morning starts with an evening. How you start your evening, or how you prepare yourself for in the evening, will largely determine how you're going to be successful or not in the morning. Okay, because oftentimes, and that's also what I used to do, I used to think, okay, if I want to wake up early in the morning, I would just go to bed and I will just, anytime, right? And I would wake up regardless. So, and sometimes I would get like 5 hours of sleep, 6 hours of sleep. And, of course, I would get so tired during the day because of not sufficient amount of sleep. So from the start, in the evening, I already set up myself for a failure, right? So it wouldn't work. So key, so important to start your morning with an evening. And to do that, we need to, let's cover three things. So set yourself up for success. Let's talk about inevitability thinking. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. He talks about, when you want to form new habits, we want to make sure that, we make it easier for ourselves to form a new habit. So the concept of inevitability thinking is quite similar to that. So what it means is really is to set ourselves up for success, meaning that if you want to drink your water in the morning, well, guess what? Prepare a bottle of water, right? In the evening, and have it stand ready so that once you come, you just start drinking instead of going and filling up the bottle with water and then start drinking, right? So anything that you can do, anything you can do to set yourself up for success, do that, because it will increase the likelihood that you're going to do this. It's similar to, athletes when they, when I, for example, go swimming, right? I don't want to, start gathering my stuff in the morning, early in the morning, to go to the swimming pool, because I know it's going to take time and it's going to be more chaotic. So I want to have my gear ready, standing, and I just want to pick it up and poof, out of the door. Okay. So that is inevitability thinking. And that could be it could be anything, right? So if it's, let's say, if you planning your trip, right? If you're planning your trip, you don't want to start, doing stuff in the morning, right? You could, right? But if you start doing it already in the evening, like packing up your suitcase, preparing, stuff in the bathroom, whatever that is, right? You can have a better chance to actually do it. Then the second thing is setting alarm. Okay, it may sound very simple, but and again, for some people alarm works, for some people alarms don't work. For me, it works because when I do it, it's basically part of inevitability thinking that I make sure that I set up myself for success, and always my alarm is set for specific time, and it's always better to go to bed at specific time. So not like every day different times, but specific times, so that you have an established routine. Okay. And ideally, if you have a chance, move that alarm to another room, because make it, if the first point was make it easier, well, make it more attractive, because once you move your alarm to another room, guess what? If you are having difficulties waking up, and because your phone or whatever alarm is next to you, next by, and you keep snoozing all the time, actually getting up and going to another room will make you wake up and go over to the other room, and it will again increase a chance of you proceeding with your day, with your morning routine. Yeah, so set yourself up for success. Then go to bed early. Okay. Oh, I think I included a success word there. So go to bed early. Get good amount of sleep. I don't know how, like maybe in the chat window, guys, you can write down how many hours on average you sleep. But this one particularly, I've gotten so many times wrong, and I kept failing at it. Because again, as I started with Miracle Morning, I would just think, okay, I just need to get some amount of sleep, and I could see that Pavlin, you write 7.5 hours, Jyoti, you write 6 hours. So yeah, that's what I also got. Like I would often sleep 6 hours, and no wonder that I got sleep deprived. That at some point in time, it was just so impossibly difficult. Like it was so difficult to sustain like that, right? And again, we are all different, right? We're all different. Some of us need a bit more, some of us need a bit less, but research shows that we need around from between 7 to 9 hours. And there's actually, by the way, guys, in the end of this presentation, I've included a list of resources based on what I'm talking about. And one of these resources is called Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. And it's filled with a lot of research and science. Number of studies have been made in terms of understanding why we sleep, what are the benefits, what are the down effects if we don't do this. So if you haven't read it, please read it. It's just an amazing read. It's a bit technical read sometimes, but it's super good. So if we are sleep deprived, guess what? We're gonna have more tendency of, we'll basically be more tired, drain of energy. We have actually tendencies to eat more, to withdraw. So there are a number of studies in that book. You can read it. And then if we have time towards the end, I would actually like to share with you falling asleep quicker technique that I've developed over the time, which helps me fall asleep within literally a couple of minutes. I used to struggle sometimes, or actually a lot, just lying down in my bed and trying to fall asleep. And now, since I started to implement this technique, I basically, it takes me sometimes like 30-40 seconds, and sometimes it could take a couple of minutes, but no more than normally 5 minutes I'm asleep. So if we have time, or at the end, I will share that. If not, then we can maybe cover it another time, because there are a few other points that I want to go through for day and the actual morning. And then they use technology less, right? Remember in the beginning I said that I would use telephone. And there was also a number of studies that, technology, the blue light affects the level of melatonin in our system. So, the more we use it, the technology, the devices closer to our sleep, it actually affects our sleep. So it's just, a physiological fact, right? So there are chemicals, it's a mental circuitry that we have. There's a lot of electric and chemical signals that we have, and it does affect, as studies show, the sleep quality. Okay, so try to use it less, at least 1 hour before. Again, what I'm sharing with you guys, it's not like a rule. Sometimes I use technology like 10 minutes before the sleep, right? So there are days like this as well, but normally I try to decrease the amount so that it's it doesn't affect my sleep. So for example, the same goes for caffeine, right? So there is a study as well that shows that if you want to have better sleep, more quality, more deeper sleep, right, then it's better not to drink coffee. I think it was 8 7 or 8 hours before the sleep. So if you're going to bed at 9 at 10 o'clock, so the last point time you would want to drink coffee if you want to is 2 o'clock p.m. Okay, 7 to 9 hours, 7 to 8 hours. Okay, and now let's move to in the morning. So what are we doing in the morning? Well, actual morning, is when the alarm goes off, right? We wake up, right? We wake up and, here there's nothing fancy. It's just showing up. Obviously, if you want to wake up, it's, do that, take action, and then be proud, right? So be proud of yourself, because every single wake up, every single get up, every single show up is really a small win. So be proud of that and celebrate it. Celebrate it in whichever form and shape you want to celebrate it. It could be just saying, well done, dude. Awesome job, right? Or it could be, oh, it was so nice. This is great, and maybe pat yourself on the back, or whatever works for you. You can do that. You can even experiment, as my mentoring coach says, be a scientist in the experiment lab of your business, or in this case, in of your life, right, of your day. So just try different things, see what works for you, and then if it works, keep it. If it doesn't, then maybe try something else. Then in terms of self-care routine. So here we have different activities. So pick activities that work for you. So I want to share with you miracle morning activities. So coming directly from this book. If you are interested in learning other activities, you can also read this book called the 5 a.m. Club. It's also an awesome read. And then Limitless by Jim Quick. He also describes his morning routine. By the way, all of this you can find on the internet without any problem. Okay, but I want to show with you basically what I do. My miracle morning, or my morning self-care morning routine up till now has been very simple. It's this formula or this methodology called SAVERS, okay? Abbreviation, 6 letters, and each letter means something. So apologies, there's a typo here. S stands for silence. So it's just a moment of me being silent and still, and enjoy a moment of stillness and quietness. Affirmations is, what I written down for myself. I read, or not read, recite now, because I know it by heart. I call it vision of becoming. So the person I am becoming, I read it or recite it every single day, religiously, no questions asked. Then every day I visualize, what is what is the picture that I want to lean out to in the future? Right now I visualize a lot of me holding my book that I'm writing. It's a tough process. I'm in the self-editing or editing mode, and it's so damn hard. And every day I visualize, this finished product, and a reader picks up a book and flips the pages through. So get excited by that. Exercise, right? So it's up to you. You can do push-ups, pull-ups, whatever. You can do cardio. Nowadays, I do stretching. So for me, it's yoga, and it doesn't have to take a lot of time, right? So it could be, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, depending on how extensive your miracle or morning routine is. And I'll share with you what I do specifically in terms of time length. Reading, as I said to you earlier, every single day, without questions, reading is one of the top priorities, because it feeds your mind, it feeds your brain. You get new insights, new perspectives. You get challenged. You get basically wisdom of people who have tried it, right? And if I have a simple philosophy. If I like it, it's just rules. If I like it, and if I resonate with it, implement it today, not tomorrow, not yesterday, obviously not yesterday, not tomorrow, today. Okay, if I like it and resonate with it, implement it straight away. And then scribing is another word for writing. Okay, so for many people in the Miracle Morning community, it's writing a journal, being grateful for what they are grateful for. For me, right now, I scribe because the book that I'm writing, I call it chapter thoughts, and there's a lot of experiments that I share, and that is describing for me. And one important thing is that your activities, you know, what you do in the morning, they must serve you. Okay, so you pick whatever you resonate with, that allows you to grow and become, you know, that better version of yourself, right? So again, and also Hal Elrod, you know, the author of Miracle Morning, he talks about the length of savers in the morning could be completely up to you. Okay, so it could be 1 hour, so each activity is, for example, 10 minutes, or it could be, you know, 6 minutes. Each activity is 1 minute, you know. So I remember when I started doing Miracle Mornings, I started small. So it wasn't, you know, a full-blown 1.5 or 1 hour. It was just, you know, 10 minutes, and just get into the habit of, you know, we are basically building those disciplines and inject them into your day. And then lastly, we get ready for the day. Okay, and here what I will talk about is not like, you know, what you will be doing during the day, because obviously, you know, most of us, if not all of us, go to work, go to university. So there's some activities, right, that we are mainly involved with. But here, the few things that I want to mention is that once you are, you know, finished with your morning routine, right? What I've been doing over the past, you know, maybe 2.5 years since I started, every single day, you know, in Denmark, there was a study that on average we spend about 42 minutes on commute. Okay, what a great opportunity to learn during commute. Okay, because again, it's feeding your mind, it's feeding your brain, you know, with useful stuff, right? With something that helps you grow. And then another thing that I noticed that it hasn't been always easy, but every single time when I did it, I just felt so proud, and, you know, it just, you know, my confidence just skyrocketed, right? There's actually a book called Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. It's an amazing book if you are into, let's say, time management, you know, managing yourself in relation to time, self-organization, discipline, and so on and so forth. Read that book. It's called Eat That Frog. And what he talks about is doing hard things first. So if you had 2 frogs, eat the big one, right? So start doing hard things first, because, you know, if you do that, then the easier things will be like a piece of cake. But if we start with easier things, guess what? The more important things we'll never get to. Who can relate? Yeah. Remember to take breaks, right? There is a number of research as well done that shows that, you know, when we do take breaks, we're less fatigued. We have more energy. We actually can focus better during the day. So the reason why I mention all of this to you guys, because again, what we do during the day will affect how you will be feeling in the evening. Because if you are completely occupied and you're like prioritizing less important things, and we're so much distracted during the day, you know, everyone wants our attention, phone, boss, colleagues, everyone, right? We get so distracted. That's why when we come in the evening home, there's simply no energy left. That's why, you know, one of the things that I didn't mention to you in the beginning, one of the realization of mine before I started Miracle Morning routine, I went to this leadership training program, and there was a test that I took. And when I completed this test, there was like hundreds of questions. I was so tired of taking the test. But once I was done with it, and I was sitting with the instructor, with the leadership instructor, and he said to me, looking at the results, which I was amazed by, he said to me one thing that which I remembered, actually 2 things, which I remembered for like probably for the rest of my life. He said, Vladimir, I can see that you are low on mental capacity. And I could relate to this because, yeah, I didn't have any energy, like, whatsoever. I would just come home and I would just feel tired and lethargic, and I would just want to, that's why, just want to escape, just want to do something that is easier to do, right? And then he said another thing. He said, if you don't design your future, Vladimir, your future will be designed for you. It's more in the context of leadership and becoming a leader, but that struck the chord with me. And, and that's when I understood, okay, if I don't put intention, to what I want in my life, then it's not going to happen. Maybe it will happen, but I don't know how. And it's okay not to know everything. It's an illusion that we will know everything, but at least I want to give an effort to show up, to show up with intention, to do useful things that adding up, that adding value to my life and the lives of the people I love. Okay, so now remember, and let me just hold on a second, guys. I have a few notes here, so I just want to make sure that I haven't missed anything. Just a second. Okay. Okay. Yes, and cover that. Okay. Yes. So the last two things that I want to share with you is kind of outside of these three things: evening, morning, and day. And those things are: track your progress. It's so important to, when you start a new habit or, miracle morning or morning routine, it's going to be probably easy in the beginning, but then after a few days or maybe a few weeks, it's going to be a bit tough. There's actually a concept called gravity pull and velocity escape and gravity pull, right? So when we're trying to escape from velocity escape, we're being pulled because of gravity, right? So it's the same here. In the beginning, it seems like, oh yeah, it's easy, I get it. And then as you move along with a habit, it's going to be like you are being dragged down, okay? So it's so important to track your progress. Actually, if I can do this, I'll show you something which is quite interesting. I don't know if you see it right now. Can you see it, guys? So I track my progress in writing every single day, and I write number of words, because now looking at this gives me a picture of where I am, how, first of all, how many I've written, but also when I look, every single time I look at it, I'm like, wow, this is amazing, right? So it's the same kind of here, like, when you are, starting a new habit, track it. Give yourself a check mark. This will give you a dose of dopamine, because we like this stuff. It will give you a sense of satisfaction that you are progressing in life, or you're actually doing something that is healthy for you. And then the other thing is, find an accountability partner. And again, these things that I'm mentioning to you, these are tools, right? Because of course you can do things without tracking. Of course you can do it without accountability partner. But the more, let's say, useful tools that you utilize that serve you to keep on track, to stay motivated, to get going, and so on, well, that's a win-win, right? So find an accountability partner. Even like right now, right? We are how many people? Like 3 or 4 people here. If you're feeling like, okay, this is what I would like to commit to, consider, pairing up with somebody and say, yeah, let's help each other. As I said, when I started, I went to my friend. As I said in the beginning, I had an agenda. I said, I want to do everything I can to get going. So I'll ask my friend, and I said, I'll make it even more attractive for me. 100 krona sent to you directly by mobile pay if I miss a morning. And I missed 3 days, but I still did those miracle mornings. Even like I basically either overslept or but I still did a miracle morning, but I transferred money because that was part of the deal. Okay. So find an accountability partner, and it could be anyone, friend, colleague, Facebook, Instagram. I every single day when I write my book, right? Not only do I take a post-it and I write a day with number of words written, I also make a post on Instagram, like either video or photo, and sharing with with people that I know. So if you've been my friend, you would have seen me like now 595 days posting every single day. So I'm basically documenting my journey. I'm documenting. I remember this beautifully put by Gary Vaynerchuk, the guy, successful entrepreneur. He said, don't think about creating content, document it. And I loved it. Document it, right? So, when I started writing my book, I just basically had some ideas, wrote it down, and I would just share this, right? What I wrote, sometimes I would say it, sometimes I would write it. So different ways. And in summary, so how to set up a self-care morning routine. So we talked about your morning starts with an evening, okay? Set yourself up for success starting from the evening, and prepare everything you can, to make it easier for yourself to get going, to start, to do things. Then pick self-care activities that serve you where you are on the journey. I remember, when I was working at the company I used to work, when I talked with my colleagues, some of them also got inspired by what I was doing, and some of them started their morning routines. And one lady, she said, "Oh, I love my morning routine now because what I do." And she even showed me a picture. She said that I like to light the candle, I like to make a tea for myself, and she would just create that space, right, for herself to develop, to grow, and feel nurtured. Okay, because as my mentor coach says, create that space and protect it, because that's the space in which we can grow, we can connect with ourselves on a much deeper level. On a much deeper level. And that's why I mentioned this word about clarity of purpose, because every single time when I discovered something, I tried something, I experimented with something, my purpose got clear, or I got more clarity in terms of what it is that I'm doing and why, who I'm serving, and what's important to me. And every time I would get an insight, I would write it down. That's what I said about vision of becoming, because every single time when I read it, it gives me a sense of excitement and on purpose. Celebrate your wins, right? So track it, every single time, because journey is not made of big steps. It's a journey made of small steps. And every single step, small step, is a celebration, is what we're celebrating. So celebrate it. Track your progress. Find an accountability partner, as we talked about. So make it, even as if you want public, if you want just say it to the person, whatever that helps you get going, consider that. And if you like that, implement it. Okay, so these are useful resources that I've put together. So Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, the 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma, Limitless by Jim Quick, Wake Up Productive by Eben Pagan, Make Your Bed by William McRaven. Really interesting, small book, but super practical and very inspiring. Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. Okay, this is as I said, it's a book filled with a lot of science, a lot of research. Very, very interesting. And yeah, so So do you guys have any questions, any reflections, any thoughts? Pavlin, you want to share maybe something from your experience? Yeah, let's share. Let's share together.
Yeah, honestly, I liked your presentation, especially the part that you start with the evening, because this is very important, obviously. And yeah, all the things that you mentioned in the presentation, I've been trying the last 3 years as well, so I could relate. And I'm really a technical guy, so I like to automatize everything that I have. So I can even give you some ideas for you if you want to implement. But basically, let's start with the evening. For me, the evening starts with my lights. My lights have an automated timer that they just dim out at 11, which is
Nice.
my 1 hour before the sleep. I have this, I don't know what is it called, but I can show it to you right here. Is this thing, and
What is-
you can set up a clock, you can set up like different days. It's called, oh, I gotta check it, but you can set up different schedules. You can set up all kinds of stuff, and you can just put in the socket to the lights and just rock it up. Or some, if you're more creative, you can do some other stuff, like you can put up some other stuff. And the other thing is, like, if you
Nice.
have an iPhone, you can set up automatization there as well. So whenever 11 o'clock hits up on the iPhone, it automatically basically turns off the Wi-Fi. It's
Nice.
down, wind down time, and it
Awesome.
just removes all the fucking notifications,
Nice. I love it.
removes access to all the apps, and I just cannot use it. And
Whoa, that's a bomb
also,
there.
also as a bonus, it starts automatically some chill out music, so it can tune down the mood, and everything stops automatically at 12, where I basically fall asleep. And in between 11 and 12, I write a journal down of what the day was. So I make a title for the day of the big things that happened. Then I write good of what good things I did. It can be everything from personal development to good things I did, and then what should I do better for the next day.
Awesome. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
And
Yes.
in the end, basically some notes for myself, some reflections that I have. And that's what happens when, yeah, between 11 and 12 for sleep. And then with the rest of the time, I read a book on my ebook until I fall asleep at 12, and the lights automatically turn off and the music stops.
Nice.
And then
Oh.
in the morning, I usually wake up at 7:30, which is, well, I have a clock which you can program to start slowly waking up. As you know, in Denmark, the sun is not here, so I have this clock to automatically start raising the brightness up until it simulates a sun, basically.
Right, right.
And at 7:30, it's the brightest, where I'm already woken up, but I also have my other lighting up automatically by 7:30, and my alarm up, which is 2 meters away from me, so I can stand up and take it off. And also, I turn out the alarm. The moment I turn it off, the Wi-Fi again stops, because iPhone has this automatic Wi-Fi thingy that starts. So I was like, okay, fuck that, I don't need it. The moment I stop my alarm, I see all the notification, and it just ruins my day.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I program it to not show anything, and just start some wake up music that I really love. And from there, basically, yeah, I go make my breakfast. I come back, meditate, and start work.
Wow. Wow.
And
Yeah.
until I do I first do the stuff that doesn't require internet, which is writing some content for my business or whatever, where I go online, because the moment I go online, usually there's a distraction coming out.
Right. Yes. Got it.
Well, that's basically in a nutshell.
Wow, that's a pretty deep nutshell. That's a good share. Thank you so much for sharing. It's I was just kind of jokingly thinking in my head. I'm sure I'm looking at Pavlin, or maybe he's being remote controlled from, like, Pavlin, the guy who is talking right now is a robot. No, but and then seriously, like what you mentioned is amazing. Like how many what do you call this, gadgets and automation things that you can set up to make it easier for yourself. Exactly. Make it easier for yourself, make it fun, right? I mean,
I've been experimenting the last 3 years and
yeah.
tried like so many different stuffs. And also I've been trying to wake up at 2 a.m., which didn't end up quite well. Tried that for a month, but usually what happened there was I was at work by 11. By 11 at work, I was falling asleep on my desk, and the managers didn't like that, so I had to change it.
Yeah.
But honestly, the most benefits that came up with that was like 6 hours of focused work. Nobody's distracting you at 2 a.m., right? And by the time you start working, it's like in the middle of the day for you, and it's like a very different experience. And you go to the office and you see all the people are kind of like almost not woken up, and they're on the first or second coffee, and I'm like, yo, what's up? This is of the day for me.
Good evening, right? Good evening.
Good evening.
Got it.
But I couldn't hold on to it. It was just too draining.
Yeah.
I had to go to bed at 8:30 or something. 8 or no, even earlier, 7:30 to wake up at 2 a.m. That just didn't work with work and family and all that.
Right. But I love how you're just open to experimenting with different things, trying it out and seeing, does it work, does it not? And that's exactly what I think we need to be better at. Just try it out and see if it works. There's a good chance that it won't, but that's okay. Maybe you've learned something from it, and then implement that small piece into something else. So that's amazing. Thank you for sharing, Pauline. What about you, Jyoti? Your name is Jyoti, right?
Yeah, Jyoti.
Jyoti, yeah. Jyoti.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
Hi.
Well, one thing I wanted to tell that this slide is all about the question. Then you can stop sharing your screen so we can interact. Because we can see bigger picture.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So actually, I think I have got lots more inputs from you both because, to be honest, I just moved to Sweden from India. And I'm still struggling to get adjusted with the people at my day-to-day routine. And, I have to settle down with the basic things here.
Right.
So, so that is what's going on. So one thing about me is like, I have really very disturbed sleep. For some reason, I cannot sleep properly or having that deep sleep. So I have to put a lot of efforts to sleep nicely. And then 6 hours is my maximum sleeping hours. I cannot sleep more than that at any cost. And then I have to put some music while sleeping to, some relaxation, some background music. And if it is going on, but I have few bad habits, and I think I have to work out on it. As you mentioned, that stop using phone and social media and Instagram before sleeping. But I keep on using it until I feel that, okay, I'm done, I'm tired, and I need to sleep. So yeah, this happens. So I think this session is insightful for me. And I'm going to try those things that you have mentioned, because I really want to get back to this routine. And then, of course, I personally agree that I feel tired very next day when I get up because I don't have a regular same time for every day to sleep. Sometimes I sleep early, sometimes I sleep late. So it's like that. But I think I'll try. Then I'll see how it works for me. And I would like to, I mean, I'll definitely read those books you have recommended. So yeah, thank you
Awesome.
very much for.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing where you are openly, Jyoti. It was very interesting to hear also that you just relocated and that you yeah, your routine that you want to implement, you want to try it out. So yeah, if I can just add to it, maybe 2 points, right? The first one is continue understanding why you want to change what you want to change. Because if you have a stronger reason, there is a better chance that you will actually do it. Because if you just do it because, oh, it just sounds good, or maybe somebody expects, I maybe I want to to
Yeah.
show off, whatever that is, right? Try to stay true with yourself and say, like, what is important to me? Like, why do I want to do this? And really try to dig deeper in that understanding, because the more you understand, the more reasons you will have. Jim Quick famously and brilliantly put it. He says, reasons reap results. Reasons reap results. Mark Twain said there are 2 important days, right? One when we're born, and one when it's understand why. So just keep digging really deep into that. And again, it's not just one session. It's just really creating that space for yourself to understand that. And that is a continuous, never-ending journey. But then just start small. That's the second thing. Just don't overwhelm yourself with a lot of things, because right now where Pavlin is, where I am, we are all on unique journeys, right? So just take out what you found useful, and action beats everything. Once you understand a little bit of your why, just start implementing, even if it's a small baby step. Because once you do that baby step, then you start to see more. Then you start to, oh, okay, that's how it works. Maybe I need to try something else, and so on and so forth. And then it feeds one another.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Pavlin, you raised your hand. What do you want to add?
Yeah, as Vladimir said, the most important thing is your why and why you're doing this. And of course, after that, you have to start with one simple thing and build it up slowly. You cannot just get all the tools that we just shared, and just start. You can't. I mean, you can do it for 1 or 2 days, but it's hard to stick because it's a lot of things. So you should start with one thing only. Make a list of everything that you heard and choose 1 or 2. Start with this. After a week or 2, add up one more thing or something like that.
Yeah, sure.
And I also wrote in the chat the 2 tools that I use. The Goobay Master Clear is basically this thing with the electricity.
I'll write it down as well.
And the second one is the Wake Up Light Clock. That is the sun clock, which I haven't shown because it's right there. But this is basically it's almost like a sun. Basically, you program it on a wake up time or a bedtime, and it just simulates a sun going up or down.
Okay.
And there are different versions, so you can basically choose whatever suits you.
Yeah. Sure.
But for me personally, this wake up light clock was one of the first things that I got for myself as one of the first tools, because Vladimir knows in Denmark it's pretty shitty lightning all the time because it's cloudy and stuff. So yeah, it just helps to wake up and see light, and not just see nothing.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Paulin. Where are you from, Jyoti? So, like in Sweden right now, where are you based?
Örebro.
Örebro. Okay. Yeah, it's not far from Stockholm, right? It's like maybe an hour, or is it?
No, it's like 2 or 40 minutes something.
Okay.
Best.
Got
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess, yeah, you can relate to lighting, getting becoming dark in winter early, and sun rising too like late in the morning.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's probably even worse up there. Yeah, got it. Cool. Well, that was it, guys. And there are just two things that I want to mention quickly. Just, first thing, thank you so much for your feedback. Really, really appreciate it. So if I can ask you to, because, we are building, basically it's a small community that I want us to build. If you can, share your review, like, a bit of feedback for the session, I would really, really appreciate it. Just, if you go to Meetup for the session, there is like a place where you can leave a review, just so that, people who are maybe considering joining next time and they are on the let's say on the fence and they're not sure. So that would be super, super useful if you could leave your opinion, because my plan is that we run these meetups twice a month. Sometimes maybe it will be 3 times. For example, this month, upcoming month, maybe there is going to be 3 times because of the planning session. I would like also to invite others. So I just included a link here. So if you can share your review, just a feedback, that would be super useful. And then the second thing that I want to mention is that if you I mentioned that I'm doing coaching full time. So if you in your life where you feel a little bit stuck and need some some sparring, some guidance, some support, some clarity, right? Whether it's in business, whether it's in personal life, you can book me for 1.5 hours, and I can provide you this clarity session for free of charge. It's the way it works is that I need to see if the person, if there is a match, and if the person gets value, then we will discuss how it might look like for us to work together. But if it's of interest to you, in terms of getting clarity, in terms of helping you get unstuck where you are, or if you're feeling overwhelmed or anxious about something, I can help you with that. But again, take your time. If you think it's relevant for your journey, you can just contact me, because I'll just drop my email here. And I work with clients, from whether it's in business, whether it's professionals. So feel free to get in touch with me if you need some support, some guidance, some clarity on your journey. Yeah.
Yep.
And Pavlin, you said you have a business. What do you do? Just quickly, out of curiosity.
Okay, long story short, I'm a dating coach.
You're a dating coach. Oh my God. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I basically help men to become more confident in themselves.
Yeah.
And meet and attract their dream partner.
Awesome.
That's the short story.
The short story. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's amazing. So, and you've been doing it for some years, you said 3 years, or is it?
Yeah, right? Almost 3 years now.
Okay, 3 years. Nice. So then we have even coaching in common, like common interest. That's awesome. Let's stay in touch. I would love to learn from how you've been doing it.
Sure.
Awesome.
How do you want to do that?
Yeah, let's connect. If you if you drop your email here, I can write you, and then we can just connect. That would be awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right.
Well,
I'll send you a mail.
Yes. Guys, Jyoti and Pauline, that was a big pleasure to share with you, and thank you for coming and sharing your stories and how Divasmita just is joining. Just wanted to say hi. Hi, Divasmita. we've recorded the whole thing. We're actually finishing it now, and we just talked. You can watch this, and just a few words from Pavlin and Jyoti. What do you guys think? Just to share with Debasmita about this meetup.
Yeah,
I did
basically,
attend till around 4:50. After that, I was traveling from Mumbai. I was changing a lot
Yeah,
of.
there's a
At one point drop off.
okay.
Can you hear me?
No,
Hello?
it's breaking up really badly. It's I don't know if it's your connection.
it is hers.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But I was saying that we recorded the whole thing, and I will be sharing with the group, you know, the link to the recording so that everyone can watch it at their own time convenience. So yeah, whatever part that you missed, you know, you probably remember timestamps, so you can just go back and watch it, and maybe you can find some useful nuggets there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I just reached home and I connected back.
Okay, got it. Well, yeah, I mean, if you have any final thoughts or questions, Debasmita, let us know. The guys just also shared, you know, what they do, what they would like to achieve. So if you have something to share, to ask, to say, yeah, let us know.
I believe all of the participants talked about their morning routine. So, and I mean, I would have loved to hear about it, but I missed it. Sorry for that. But whatever I heard from you, Vladimir, it was helpful for sure. I heard till the point where you were talking about what to do during the day to make that your mornings start well, or you can plan your mornings better. So yeah, so it was helpful. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Thank you for coming. And yeah, I hope the trip was pleasant. And yeah, yeah, I wish you guys, a nice rest of the evening and the day. And yeah, let's we have the upcoming event, which is I think actually next week. I think I set it up, but this one will be a more of a workshop style. So if you're interested in, I call it workshop, how to create your own vivid vision. Remember, I talked about vision of becoming. There are two visions that I personally work or have, is vision of becoming and vivid vision, which is a bit more detailed, kind of leaning out into the future, creating that excitement for yourself. So we will, on this workshop, create each one of you who will attend, create their own vivid vision, and I'll guide you through the process. So if you're interested, join us.
Yeah, but one request, Vladimir.
Sure.
Can you have the event later in the evening? 4 p.m. kind of gets in the way of people
Is it too
who
early
have
for
their
you?
office.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whoever is working, for them, 4 p.m. is difficult to manage.
Right. Yeah. It's a valid request. What about you guys? Do you feel the same, or does it matter for you?
I'm an entrepreneur, so
Okay.
I make my own time.
Yeah.
I have office. I mean, I can work from home, so sometimes it is manageable. But I think I agree with her. If it is like after office hours, then it will be easy. We don't have to run around.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it. So let's say if it was maybe 4:30 or 5 o'clock, that would be easier.
Mhm.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll definitely consider that. There are a few logistical things, but I think it's possible to move things around. So I will definitely consider that, and then maybe we can just try and run it at that time, so for a couple of times and see how that goes. Thank you for your suggestion, Debasmita. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
All right.
And I wish you all the best for your book. I wish you all the best for your book.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It's a time-consuming process. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of surrendering into the process. But slowly but surely, I'm getting there. I'm also working with a coach on that. He guides me. So yeah, it's going little by little.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Alrighty. Well, wish you a good rest of the day, and I hope to see you again in the future events.
Okay,
All right.
take care.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.